Now, this is going to be a short presentation on the sustainability reporting and what sustainability is about. For this webinar, I target to give audience a brief introduction of sustainability reporting and how it has generally developed over the course of the last 5 years.
Okay.
There again, just a brief introduction of myself. My name is Wee Kwang. I'm a director of CA Trust PAC Singapore, and I have been helping listed companies in Singapore preparing sustainability reporting ever since it started in Singapore in 2017. In the recent years, in the recent few months, in fact, I have actually went up to KL also to share with the TGS network and their clients on sustainability reporting. Now, in order to understand sustainability reporting and to stress on the importance of sustainability reporting, I would like to highlight this global risk report to you. This is a newly issued report in 2019, in fact, January 2019, so just last month. Now, if you look at the list of the top 10 risks by likelihood and impact, it is not difficult to spot that weather and climate change are the top risk factors in terms of likelihood and impact. Extreme weather is ranked as number 1 in terms of likelihood, and again, extreme weather is ranked as number 3 in terms of impact. Right, other things such as failure of climate change, major natural disasters, man-made environmental damage, and disasters, major biodiversity loss, and ecosystem collapse, water crisis. Now, these are the primary concerns of the global population through the survey of the World Economic Forums, and these are really ranked high. So it is important that organizations start thinking about their sustainability strategies, right, in order to stay relevant. And there's this concept about social license as well, right, which is the legitimacy of organization to operate in an environment. Now, as I witnessed over the last couple of years, there are more and more demand for consumers and stakeholders to demand organizations to report the sustainability strategy and what they are going to do with the negative effect of their trade on the environment. Now, Sir David Attenborough have told Davos in 2019 that the Holocene has ended and the Garden of Eden is no more. And we have changed the world so much that scientists say that we are in a new ecological age, the Anthropocene age, the age of humans. Right? I was born during the Holocene, the 12,000 period of climatic stability that allowed humans to settle farms and create civilization. Right? So our environment and our climate has actually reached a tipping point where it really requires us to take a collective action to do something about it. So for the future generation of people. Now, in order to understand sustainability reporting, right, we need to understand the environmental damage and natural disasters, the global policies, and the sustainability development and the current challenges and the sustainability reporting and its value. I will take you through these points. Now, the environmental damage, as you know, you and I know, now mankind has inflicted a great amount of environmental damage ever since its first industrial revolution in 1950s. And if you look at some of the statistics that have come through, what we have inflicted on the environment has actually increased exponentially ever since the first industrial revolution. This is the picture of the snowfalls in the Sahara Desert for the 3rd time in 14 years. Just imagine the desert is snowing, and this is the 3rd time in 40 years. The first time is in 1979, second time in 2016, and the 3rd time in 2017. And this has really happened. And this picture is taken early in the morning, just because the sun rises, so that, and the snow melts away after that. Now, in the region, in Asia Pacific region, in late 2017, Penang has suffered one of the worst floods in history. Almost 17 hours of non-stop rain paralyzed the states as roots were inundated, trees uprooted, and properties damaged. The floods claimed 7 lives and over 3,070 people, 3,700 people were evacuated, and it was estimated that 1,000 SMEs, small medium enterprise, out of the 10,000 in Penang were affected and suffered damage up to 300 million ringgit. This is to show you that it is real, and if we don't do something, situation is only going to get worse. Hi, Abado. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you.
Okay, don't worry. Now, the second incident is in 2011. Thailand suffered a severe flooding, the worst in half a century, right? And this has resulted in disruption to the supply of parts of automobile makers. Toyota, Honda, Nissan, right? The Southeast Asia being the manufacturing hub to this organization. Honda was forced to halt production at its Thai plant, the second largest production base outside Japan. Export to Australia, Europe, among others, were affected, and financial analysts estimated that the loss in production was more than 500 million a month for this company. So it's real, and climate change and environmental damage have a direct impact on organization bottom line. Now, what if we don't do anything about it, right? Prediction by scientists on global warming impacts, right? Says that if we do nothing, the temperature will rise by 1.1 to 6.4 degrees Celsius. By 2020, the sea ice is predicted to shrink in both the Arctic and the Atlantic. The tropical cyclones and the hurricanes are likely to become more intense, backing higher winds and rains. The Boston flood, right? Sea levels will increase by 18 centimeters to 59 cm by 2100. People suffer new disease and increase in poverty. And as you know, Singapore is a small country. Our government has actually worked out, right, the areas which will, if it was to increase by 18 cm, which are the areas that is going to be below water. So the government in Singapore actually have those statistics, and it seems very real. Now, how does this sustainability comes about, right? I think I just want to give the audience a bit of context on how it comes about. In 1987, the World Commission on Environment and Development set up an exploration goal of sustainability development, describing it as development which meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. Now, sustainability is therefore the capacity to endure. It is the long-term maintenance of well-being, which has environmental, economic, and social dimension, which encompasses the concept of stewardship and responsible management of resources. So this is a concept which was already being toyed with late in the 20th century, right? But it has only come to fruition only in 2016, right? When at UN level, they set a global policy such that by 2030 agenda for sustainability development goals, right? And as you can see, these are the 17 development goals which I have on the right of the slides, and these are the targets of the UN. And on 1st of January 2016, all 193 United Nations member states, including Malaysia, Singapore, add the agenda through the SDG format. And what does this mean? This is very critical for us because once they have added this onto their roadmap, it means that organizations are required to do some form of sustainability reporting. It started in the region with listed companies, right? For example, in Singapore, all listed companies are required to do the sustainability reporting for year ended 31st December 2017. Now, this is a rough roadmap of where we are in terms of sustainability reporting. It's already mandatory in Asia, in certain places in Asia, such as Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Philippines, and Indonesia. Indonesia, they are looking at 2020 primarily because this is 2019 is an election year. In Europe, in UK, and in EU countries, is mandatory. I've just spoken to Italian, and he told me that the company is listed in the Italy Milan Stock Exchange, which are required to report on sustainability reporting since last year. It's still voluntary in many parts of the world, for example, the US, and in Asia, China, Australia, Thailand, and India, it remains a voluntary endeavors. for organizations to report on sustainability reporting. Now, what are the current changes? What's the current changes of sustainability development? We know that entities through their activities and relationship all have impacts on the economy, the environment, and the society. And these impacts represent the organization contribution, both positive and negative, towards the goal of sustainable development. Now, what's the constant challenge? The constant challenge really is how can business be profitable and at the same time contribute to the sustainable development. So these are the issues which organizations are really thinking about. Now, and then what is sustainability reporting, right? You might ask. Sustainability reporting, therefore, is really a tool, right, to allow organization, right, to report publicly on its economic, environmental, and social impacts, and hence its contribution, positive and negative, towards the goal of sustainability development. It is really to hold organization accountable, right? Because factors such as EESG, which is economic, environmental, social, and governance, are never really reported in the annual report. And now management will have to come up with KPIs on how they are doing in terms of reducing the greenhouse emission, carbon footprint, so on and so forth in their annual report. It is a way to raise the collective consciousness of the global population and also to hold organizations accountable to a very large extent on the positive and negative impact which they have inflicted on the environment. Now, there are definitely certain values and certain benefits from my experience. Now, some of the internal benefits are the enable actually management to have a better vision and strategy, because a lot of management doesn't really consider sustainability reporting as part of their vision and strategy. Now, with this implemented, management now would have to include, right, the impact that the business inflict on the environment and its people as part of vision and strategy. Now, also, it now has a management system, for example, to monitor its greenhouse emission, its carbon footprint, so on and so forth. Now, employees' motivation, because if I go around a lot of listed companies, especially in the commercial field, there are a lot of people without proper training program. There's a lack of diversity on the board, for example, and there's also a lack of gender equality. So these are the issues which management have to grapple with when it comes to sustainability reporting, and this is the positive side of it. Definitely, in terms of external benefit, we are talking about better reputation and trust, because now we know for sure that management is now accountable to what they are doing in terms of they are now better accountable, they are better held accountable to the people and the environment in terms of the activities. It is very important in terms of attracting capital. That is very key because of the sustainability capital that is a rising phenomenon in the world. In Singapore and in the rest of Asia, in particular US, there are stocks which are listed as part of the sustainability index. And these are getting more and more popular among investors. Now, definitely, there got to be better stakeholder engagement so as to understand what are the economic and the social impact that organization has on the environment and its people. And definitely, if you have a good sustainability strategy, it will give you a definite competitive advantage. Now, these are some of the sustainability report or testimonial that have come out. Genting Singapore, which is an integrated resort developer, now reported certain good things on sustainability reporting, and in terms of energy saving, carbon emission reduction, right? And the helping of 9,000 lives, also increase of volunteer work hours. So really, it increase the collective consciousness of organization in terms of managing its sustainability capital. Now, how has reporting helped to address the impact? It has enabled the company to attain a comprehensive understanding of our overall sustainability impact and to enable to formulate a sustainability strategy as the foundation to sustainable policies and programs. Now, next I want to touch on GRI. Now, especially in this part of the world, what I have seen is over 90% of companies who need to report on sustainability reporting use GRI as a framework for sustainability reporting. I don't know about in Europe.
I have seen a few sustainability reports, and Dutch companies use it and French companies as well. So yeah, we used in Europe.
Okay. Do they use GRI or do they use something else?
Most of them use GRI, but some of them use IR, integrated reporting.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. So I'll cover IR later. So it's correct that I think the dominant framework in the world is probably GRI at the moment. Now, in terms of GRI, I will just briefly introduce GRI for the purpose of this webinar. Now, GRI is an international independent not-for-profit organization, and GRI helps business, governments, and other organizations understand and communicate the impact of business on critical sustainability issues through GRI. Now, this issue spans across climate change, human rights, anti-corruption, and many other sustainability topics. Now, GRI sustainability reporting standards are used by organizations around the world to communicate to stakeholders about their impacts on the economy, environment, or the society. And the use of GRI helps organizations to disclose information in a more consistent and comparable way. And it also helps to promote greater transparency and accountability of organization. Now, however, for GRI, if you want to use it, it's really not so intuitive, right? You really got to read it and got to go through a short video on the GRI website in order to understand it. Now, GRI comes in a few parts, right? There's that 100 series. The 101 is a foundation. It set out like 10 reporting principles. And 102 is about general disclosure of the organization, a lot of which is already in the annual report. And then 103 is about the management approach for each material sustainability issue. Now, it's then divided into 200, 300, and 400 series. I thought it's important to mention this just in case anyone needs to use the GRI standard. Now, the economic topic is on the 200 series, and there's really a series of topics within 200. Now, governance about anti-corruption is actually captured in the economic topic. Environment topics are captured in the 300 series and talk about energy, water, emission, and other topics. The social topics, which relates to employment, child labor, and other public policies, are actually captured in 500 series. Now, the good thing about GRI is such that you can choose. Now you have a choice to either report it using core or comprehensive option. Core option meaning if you have identified a material topic, you need to report on all the subtopics within the material topics. However, if it's just choose comprehensive, and I've seen a lot that comes through that choose comprehensive, you just need to report on one subtopics in that material topic. This is the key distinction. However, for all the listed companies which are listed on the Sustainability Index, they have widely or mostly choose the comprehensive option. Sorry, I don't know whether I got the other way around. The comprehensive option is the option that you got to report on all subtopics within the material topics. The core option is you can pick and choose just one subtopic within the material topics. The trend is such that any companies which are listed on Sustainability Index, they will by default choose a comprehensive approach. However, most other companies, because of cost and benefit analysis, they'll choose a core approach. Now, so this is what I have for GRI. It's a very good framework which is adopted throughout the world. And when I do my SR consulting as well, sustainability consulting, I leverage a lot on this GRI framework because it's a very comprehensive framework. Now, next I want to talk about the next one, which is called integrated reporting. Integrated reporting are used by some of the bigger organizations, particularly the financial institution of the stock exchange in this part of the world. However, at the listed companies level, there's not many adoption in terms of integrated reporting. This is what I see. I don't know what's the trend in Europe. Do you want to share with us the trend in Europe in terms of the adoption of integrated reporting?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, what's the rate of adoption? Who usually adopt integrated reporting in the context of Europe or in EU?
No.
In Singapore and in Asia, most companies that adopt integrated reporting as a sustainability reporting are financial institutions and stock exchanges. These are typically the companies that adopt integrated reporting in Asia. What about in Europe? Which are the kind of companies that usually adopt IR as the framework for sustainability reporting? Do you have an idea?
No, no idea.
Okay, don't worry about it. Now, integrated reporting is also another framework. It captures the value creation process rather than focus on the ESG factors. Actually, the ESG factors, environmental, is not a mandatory factors to report if if it's not critical to our organization. And it broke down. It is essentially recognizing the intangibles. Now, this IR actually broke down into 6 intangibles, 6 kind of capital, which is financial capital, manufacturing capital, intellectual capital, human capital, social capital, and natural capital. And it's about this whole value, how organization creates value using these 6 capital, right? And how it interacts with its external environment. Now, this is the essence of integrated reporting, and that's why it's very widely used by financial institutions because of the recognition of the fact that you have a lot more capital compared to just the old kind of capital that we talk about, right, which is essentially just money, but they are talking about intellectual capital, human capital, social capital, and natural capital. So this is the reason why it is being used by some of the financial institutions. Now, and I have a graph here showing the rise of intangible assets. And the primary reason that drove this piece of IR is because of the rise in intangible assets. As you can see in the first graph, the intangible assets has actually bypassed tangible assets, right, in US. And in UK as well, although you see a slight dip there, but the investment in intangible has actually surpassed that of tangible. However, in Europe, generally, it's another story. Intangibles is still lagging a bit a bit behind in terms of the growth of Europe. So this is where Europe is. So this is about the IR. Now, I'm showing you a model now. This is by one of the national bank in Singapore called DBS Bank. And DBS has quite a number of branches in the world as well. Now, they break down the capital. If you see those icons in black, right, they broke it down into brands, customer relationship, digital capital, employees, financial, physical infrastructure, natural resources, and societal relationships. So this is how they broke down their capital, their resources, right, and how they create value and in turn benefit their stakeholders. So if you look at sustainability as a whole, it is really reporting in terms of non-financial information, which is rising. There's a lot more recognition of the importance of non-financial information, which the financial statements typically don't capture. And this is rising. This is rising, and I'll give you a reason why it is rising later on. Now, the other reason why it is rising is because of SASB. Now, US has now developed a unique set of sustainability accounting standards in 79 industry verticals, and it is reviewing it. The authority is reviewing it before SASB includes this sustainability accounting standard into the code. Once it is being incorporated into the code, it's going to be mandatory for all listed companies. Now, it hasn't been mandatory yet. It's probably going to take another 6 months to 1 year. Now, once this comes into full swing, it's going to be a very important piece of standard. And as we all know, one of the most valuable asset of US is actually its MNCs, right? It has very strong MNCs. So once MNC adopt this, I can see the movement. I can see the movement of sustainability reporting is going to really increase exponentially. This is where I am in terms of sustainability reporting. I want to take this opportunity to share with you the importance of incorporating sustainability into the entire enterprise risk management framework. Now, because in a lot of organizations, we talk about sustainability reporting as a totally separate item. Why it is important, and is mentioned in some of the literature, especially in the Asia Pacific region, that it is important to incorporate sustainability. When we talk about enterprise risk management framework, we are talking about the process of identifying and prioritizing the risks for the purpose of disclosure at the board level. And this is to ensure transparency and accountability. Now, when sustainability comes in, it is very important to include those material sustainability factors as part of your enterprise risk management framework. Now, this is the DROP, like the dual risk opportunity enterprise management framework, which I have developed internally. I have used this as part of my consulting, because when people come to me, I would not only do sustainability reporting, I will do enterprise risk management as well, right? And it is important to kill two birds in one stone in that respect. Now, so this is the enterprise risk management framework which I have developed. As you can see, I have utilized the COSO entity objective. I have added in sustainability as one of the factors. Now, and I also incorporate risks and opportunities, right? Because a lot of people talk about risk management thinking about the risk, but however, they are missing on the important part of opportunity for innovation. In Industry 4.0, it is not only important to talk about the risk, it is important to see where is the opportunity in the risk. And from the Chinese philosophy, risk and opportunity is inextricable. And that's why I've developed this for the purpose of risk management consulting. And also I've incorporated the ISO 31000 framework here. 31000 framework talk about the process in terms of establishing, identifying, analyzing, evaluating, and treating risk. And hence, this is the framework which I use for consulting purpose. Now, again, this is a framework which I use. It's extracted from a professor who has presented in a conference, in a project management conference in 2001. And again, it is not sufficient just to do risk. What most of the risk manager will do is they will just focus on the left, right? On the left, the left half, right? The threats and not the opportunity. However, it's really not enough, right? It's important to view the threats and the opportunity in totality. And what you look at, the arrow of attention is where the shareholders or the management should focus on, because these are the red, right? If it's a red threat, that this is a threat that should be avoided or eliminated. However, if it's within the red in the opportunities half, that it should be exploited, right? So this is to give you an overall framework of how to embed sustainability reporting into the whole wider risk management framework. So with that, I thank you and I welcome any questions.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a question?
Yeah, I have a question, Weekon. I'm working on a sustainability report myself, and I think you have a lot of experience with the GRI standard, yeah? Right?
That's right, yeah.
So if I ever run into some problem or I have a question, could I contact you?
Yes, please. I have, over the last 2 years, I've built out a good team who are very familiar with GRI standards. So we are now providing GRI to not only the Singapore companies, but companies in the region. And I can see a lot of demand that is coming in. As I can see more demands coming in after SASB has incorporated that into the code. So yeah, feel free to drop me an email if you have any questions.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. It's a perfect,
yeah, go on.
Wonderful presentation. I think we shall work on it. It's a good idea for TGS. And do you already use it in your Singapore?
Yeah, Singapore SR is mandatory to Singapore for the year for all listed companies for year ended 31st December 2017. So ever since 2 years ago, we have started on this sustainability reporting route. And it's not only in Singapore, in Malaysia as well, it has become mandatory. So it's in Hong Kong. Although each regulator roll out sustainability slightly differently, however, I think the gist of it remains more or less the same. So in this part of the world, it's really a movement which are sweeping across the listed companies. And I think the next wave would be for the bigger SMEs or the bigger private companies to adopt SR.
Yeah.
That will be the next wave. Yeah.
Good. Excellent. I think it will be, in fact, a next opportunity of business and to provide service to the clients. Good. Very,
Thank you.
very well presented. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. And let me know if you need any help in terms of sustainability reporting.
Let me try if I can improve the sound, because I don't hear you.
Yeah, just let me know if you need any help or any guidance in terms of sustainability reporting.
You will display this on our app, this presentation. You will display it in our app, TGS app.
That is Marcella, right? Marcella,
yes.
What do you say?
Marcella will do it? Okay.
Yeah, yes, we can share that in the hub. I can put everything in the hub, so.
Okay. Okay, I will be back to you, to you, Con.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Wee, for this webinar for TGS and the members. It's really, really important to know how to do our business more sustainable for the planet. So thank you very much and see you for the next webinar.